Thank you. Molt bon dia. El meu nom és Karme, seré la moderadora.
Hello, my name is Karme and I will be the moderator of this session and I will be a speaker as well. I will start by introducing my project and up next I will present the speakers today. Okay? Alright. Do we have the pictures or do you want to come in? Present my project then? The session today is about reimagining a waste-free world. My name is Karme Martinez. I'm an inconformist and entrepreneur by nature, and if I can get my slides, I will start to present my project because it is about waste, but in my case, in the textile industry. If I can have my presentation. Well, while we get the pictures going, I will give you a few figures. I don't know if you know them. Did you know that the textile industry is the second most polluting in the world after the oil industry? Every year, 92 million tons of garments are dumped. Most of them end up in uncontrolled landfills that are toxic for the planet and dangerous to human health. Textile production generates 20% of toxic waste and greenhouse gas emissions. In the world, as an average, 11.4 kilos of clothes are used per year with 142 kilos of emissions per capita, and the most important or shocking thing is that just 1% of the products purchased are still used after 6 months. So, programmed obsolescence has reached the garment industry. Unbelievable. I'll tell you about my track record. No, I have no slides. Okay, never mind. It's fine. The goal of my project is to recuperate garments that were going to pollute the planet to make unique pieces. I need to explain my trajectory because my track record, because the project is called BeKarme and it's very much related to my personality because it's a personal brand. So I wanted to tell you that I've been lucky to be born and raised at the Ebro River Delta. It's a paradise, a biosphere reserve, and I grew there very much linked to nature and its processes, environmental processes. Therefore, I have respect for nature that's always been within me, respecting it and being aware of the fact that nature is the one that in this case gives us, for example, in the delta we grow rice, we have lots of vegetables, agriculture, fisheries are very important. The biosphere in these situations is very important to preserve it because everything is connected to the food that we then eat. So I come from principles. Well, I've been brought up this way. So for me, there are things that work awfully, that do not work, and it's impossible to understand from my perspective. Well, regarding my professional track record, I told you I'm a non-conformist by nature, and I'm trained in jewelry, waste reduction, fashion, and for 2 years now I repair clothes to prolong their useful life and to stop them from becoming textile waste. I have an atelier where I fix clothes, I do make-to-measure clothes, tailor-made clothes. I also design garments for shows in my area, and I love all techniques, and I also work with wood, with polymer paste, all sorts of complements, covers for the home, and
para garantir la
Everything
llarga
I do
vida de
locally
les
is
coses
to
que ja tenim.
prolong the life of things that we already have.
La meva manera de conscienciar I la meva
It is
professió
my
és
way
esta.
of raising awareness in my profession.
Bueno, aquí una imatge molt
Well, this
descriptiva
is a
de com
very
estem.
descriptive picture of the way things are now.
Això és residu tèxtil.
This is textile waste,
Una idea de les
just
xifres
for
que
you
us
to get an
comentava
idea of the
anteriorment.
figures that I was telling you about before.
92 milions de tonelades
92
de
million
roba,
tons of
Cuidao.
clothes. Look out.
En la seva respectiva contaminació.
And their associated
I
pollution.
bueno, aquí ve el meu projecte,
And this is my project
que per a
now,
mi és vital,
which is vital to me,
que és rescatar roba que anava a contaminar el món per a
which
fer
is
peces úniques
rescuing
com-
clothes that were going to pollute
En
the
este
world to
cas, el
make
projecte
pieces
té
as unique as
com-
you. The project
veu com de tres fonts, que seria
comes
la
from
la
three
sostenibilitat
sources.
emocional,
Emotional
perquè
sustainability.
me serà molt fàcil d'explicar-ho d'esta manera.
Well,
O
it would be
jo
easy to
esta
explain it
jaqueta
this way.
avui me l'he
This jacket,
fet-
for example,
ahir me la vaig
I
fer,
created it yesterday
perquè avui per a mi
because today,
este,
for me,
esta sessió era molt important.
this session was very important to me. So I wanted to dress
guai, al meu rotllo, però tenia ganes
in
de
my
fer
way, but I wanted to wear a
Llavors,
top-notch
jo contemplo
jacket.
que la roba t'empodera.
So I understand that
Sempre ho he sentit.
clothes empower you.
Soc
I've
capaç
always
d'enamorar-me d'una
felt
peça, d'enamorar-me
this
d'un
way. I can
vestit.
fall in love with a piece, with the fabric.
Llavors, la segona vessant seria la cultural,
And the
perquè jo soc modista,
second
soc el relleu generacional de les modistes,
idea would
un
be
ofici molt degradat, que
a tailor. I'm a
estic
tailor.
intentant
A
ficar-li
di-
la professió que es mereix, i és art.
job that should be considered an art, and I'm trying to get it there through textile
Al meu
engineering.
projecte desenvoluparem processos
But
per
a dressmaker or a seamstress. And we will develop processes so that our clients are aware of the entire chain and how it
treball
works.
artesanal que
And the
desenvolupa.
artisan work
I la tercera, sobretot, és la
developed in it.
sostenibilitat,
And the third pillar is
roba,
sustainability,
que era
because
de
we
segona mà,
rescue
els teixits que utilitzo
second-hand
per a-
clothes,
per a
and
la
the fabrics that I
reutilizació de les
use for the
peces
redesign
són
of the
restes d'estoc,
pieces
de teixits
are
d'alta qualitat, per tant,
surplus
restes que ja no surten.
stocks
I bueno,
that will not be sold,
dir-vos
high
que
quality
Karme
stocks that will
va
not
ser
be
escollit,
that will no
un
longer
dels
be
quatre
sold.
projectes innovadors en
And
la
BeKarme
convocatòria
was
stand-up
considered one of
subvencionada
the
amb fons europeus.
3
Estic a la fase inicial del
projects
projecte.
subsidized with European funds
és
in
un
this
projecte
stand-up
que
call. And this is a project that, well, I'm switching languages, I'm alternating languages, sorry, between Catalan and Spanish. It deconstructs the current system. We intervene in pieces individually and uniquely. We design capsule collections with second-hand garments and excess fabric, high quality excess fabric. The waste generated by the collection becomes complements, so we get a zero waste result. It's also important to say that on the website I will have a made-to-measure service where the user will be able to send their piece so that we can transform it, and aside from making it unique and exclusive, we will prolong its life. And upcycling is not a trend, it's the future. Upcycling is the technique that I work with my pieces, and we work for a better world. This is the Delta, my studio, the completely manual intervention, complete proximity. I don't work with any atelier that is far away. We do everything in the studio. These are some examples. A collage bomber jacket, a normal stained jacket, and well, I only used the elastics and the patches, and everything else was absorbed fabric, and you can see how it changes. Just like this shirt, these are the first prototypes that I'm making. And the bag. This is my project. This is my homepage image, and I think it summarizes my concept very well. And this is my Instagram profile. I encourage you to access it. I have a form to answer some questions about the needs of the market, and I'm at the initial stages and developing and working with a lot of excitement. And up next, I will introduce our three speakers of today. Each of them will have, like me, 10 minutes to present their important perspectives about how we can reimagine a waste-free society, a waste-free world. First, Isaac Peraire.
Después tenemos a
Then
Helena Calvo.
Calvo.
Y por último a
And
Rosa García.
finally, Rosa García.
Bueno, empecemos por Isaac.
So let's start with
Peraire
Isaac.
Soler.
Isaac Peraire Soler,
Hacer que los residuos funcionen
making
para todos los
waste
ciudadanos.
work, putting waste to work for all
Director de la
citizens.
Agencia de
Director
Residuos de
of the
Cataluña,
Catalan Waste Management
Licenciado en
Agency, Catalan
psicología
Government,
y formado en
PhD
gestión
or a degree in
estratégica de la
psychology and
colaboración
trained in
público-privada.
management of
Isaac Peraire
public-private
Soler
cooperation. Isaac
cree
Peraire
en la
Soler
mejora de la
believes
calidad
in the
de la vida de los
improvement
ciudadanos.
of quality of life of
Ha sido
citizens.
alcalde de
He's
Prats de
been
Lluçanès
mayor of
y
Prats de
presidente del
Lluçanès
Consorci de
and
Lluçanès
chairman of
de
the
2015
Lluçanès
a
Consortium
2019.
from 2015 to
También es
2019.
miembro
He's
activo de
also
Esquerra
an
Republicana de
active member
Cataluña.
of Esquerra
Como
Republicana
director de la
Catalunya
Agencia de
Political Party,
Residuos de Cataluña,
and as director of the
vela por los
Catalan Waste Management
objetivos
Agency,
principales de la agencia de
he
promover la
defends the
minimización
goals
de
of
residuos,
promoting
la implantación de la
minimization
recogida selectiva,
of
la
waste, implementation of selective collection,
valorización de residuos,
the
la
valorization of
eliminación de
waste, the
residuos y
disposal
la
of waste, and the
recuperación de
recovery of
espacios
spaces
y
and soils
suelos degradados
degraded by
por vertidos
contaminated
contaminados por
discharges
desperdicio.
of waste. Wow.
Vale.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. All right.
Hola a tothom.
Hello, everyone.
Intueixo que se'm sent bé.
I guess you can hear me all right.
Bé, moltes gràcies, Karme. Moltes
Thank you very
gràcies
much,
a tothom
Karma.
per ser aquí.
Thank you
Gràcies
all
a
very much for being
l'organització
here.
també per muntar
I would like to thank the organizers as well for
tot aquest esdeveniment.
setting up all of
I
these
jo,
events.
bàsicament, i vist tota
And
la
I
programació
basically,
que hi ha,
and
la que
having
heu
seen
viscut
the
fins ara, la que
program
ve,
and everything you've
després,
talked
demà,
about
etcètera,
before
us
and
proposaré
what you
un
will
petit
discuss
exercici
later and
també
tomorrow,
per
I'll
la que
propose
som.
a small
Intentaré
exercise.
ser
Well,
tan
because of the
lleuger
time,
com
I'll try to
sigui
be as
possible.
light
Jo us
as I
proposo
can,
fer,
and I
fer
propose
un
that
viatge
we
en
go
el
on a
passat,
journey
una reflexió de present
through the
i
past,
sobretot posar,
reflection for the
fixar-nos,
present,
posar el
and
punt en el futur,
setting
no
our
com a gran
focus or
masterclass
fixating
la que
on
us
the
donaré,
future.
no és
It
el
will
meu
not be a
objectiu.
masterclass,
En
it's not my
general,
goal.
el meu objectiu és el de
Generally
sacsejar
speaking, my goal
consciències,
is to
generar
shake
esperit crític,
consciousness,
cultivar aquest esperit
generating
crític, i, per tant,
critical
una mica la meva
spirit,
presentació anirà
and my
en
presentation
aquest
will
sentit.
be along those lines.
Per tant, aquest viatge que us proposo,
So
aquest
this
exercici que
trip
us
that I
proposo,
would like to
primer
take you on, this
tot
journey that I
començar
would
a
like to
fer
take you
una
on
petita
is,
reflexió,
well,
cadascú
first,
interior.
each and every one of us should think within ourselves. It sounds tacky, but I propose that you do that. Take a leap backwards, those of you who can, 50 years, those of you who can, 40, 35, 30 years back, and then we can interpret and see how the world of waste was grey back then. Heaps of waste mixed by the road in uncontrolled landfills. There are places in Europe that's still the case, and we had that here. And it wasn't that long ago. And I am not a catastrophist, I'm an optimist, as I will prove during this time here today. Waste today, we want to talk about waste, always thinking that the best waste is a waste not generated. We want to talk about how we are doing things. This weekend we would like to talk in an open, transparent manner, and sometimes I don't want to look like a hippie, but I would like to talk about this in a cool, innovative, hip manner, without taboos. And separately, so I mean, we should stop this from happening, and we're doing that. And the future means that we think of waste in colors, because there are different colored bins, or the fraction that comes out, or if we have door-to-door collection systems. We already have advantages in terms of eco-design and always thinking about the fact that the best piece of waste is a piece of waste not generated. And in order to reach big answers, we need suggestive questions. And my colleagues all thought that Newton, who had a very suggestive name, Isaac, we share the name, and he asked a question when an apple fell on his head. And from there came the theory of gravity. He asked, why did this matter fall? And he elaborated this theory. So we need suggestive questions. Do we want a world without waste? I think we can all agree to the answer. It is a resounding yes. The next question is it possible? A world without waste is possible? This is the question that we are showing here. And the next question that comes alongside this possibility of having a waste-free world, which we believe we should go for, is a world in which the paradigm of the linear economy, buying, using, and discarding, so linear economy, can we go from that to an infinite loop of using these materials, these resources? So the paradigm of going from waste to resource is what we believe we should work on. And again, we are not starting from scratch. As I said, as an optimist, this country has taken many steps towards a circular economy and making the economy into a circular economy and a zero waste society. There are examples. My colleague Pilar Chiva told you about this. The Pact for Circular Fashion is a clear example of public-private partnership and involvement of the responsibilities of different areas. And if you allow me for a small parenthesis, our will is that of distributing responsibilities or being co-responsible in all of this. So we ask citizens as a whole to be committed and to make change and transformation. Of course, this will continue to be the case, but not only that, the world of industry, production, distribution, businesses, etc. And not only that, the world of the administration, the local world, supra-local, Catalan government, the state, etc. And not only to comply with regulations, etc., but because there's a need and a commitment and a belief. And there are specific companies who that are focusing on the... I have 5 more minutes, theoretically. They told me 10, but never mind, I'll be quick. I'm running out of time. No, okay. I'll be quick. There are examples of processes that generate, well, and I wanted to say this, sorry, because this year, and in the festival that we're participating in, we are focusing on textile and the garment industry, and this year the European Week of Waste Prevention focuses on the textile industry, it's not per chance. There are examples of companies that are working on this, and yes, and they have provided answers, and they have started initiatives in some fields because there have been very suggestive and interesting questions. It was possible, or is it possible, to have a waste-free world? First of all, prevention should be at the center, with an economy that does not generate waste. With circular economy and the paradigm of reusing, all of the processes of preparing for reusing. We have a need at homes, but also in the industry. We have a need to sort our waste adequately with high efficiency systems. Now the highest efficiency system that we have is door-to-door collection. And for all of that, we need a revolution. We need to be the protagonists of the evolution of waste. And if you're scared by the word revolution, I have an alternative. Transformation. 3 transformations. That would be a revolution. 3 transformations equals revolution. So there is no problem with the concept, but there is a problem with the idea and the bottom of it. And in this world of the waste, circular economy, eco-design, we need this revolution because we believe in it, but also because it's a pressing matter. The future is in our hands. We come from far away, we've worked a lot, we can always compare ourselves to some places where they've done worse, but I will not do that. We compare to whatever we can do better with selective waste sorting of high efficiency, eco-design prevention. And just to give you some examples, we are at a time, and I will not talk about this too long, but we are undergoing regulatory changes and we are bringing alternative proposals. For example, a deposit of cigarette butts. 50% of those are in public parks, on the streets. They seem invisible, so we should go to the source. This cigarette ends, the cigarette butts should not be produced, do not smoke, but if we have this piece of waste, then we should have a return system. It's difficult. We should be daring and do away with the system, with the preconceived system. So we need a paradigm shift. We need to talk about resources instead of waste to get ourselves into the circular economic world. And just to finish, if you want different results, do not always do the same. Borrowing this from Albert Einstein also and bringing it into our sector. So thank you very much, and I'm available to you for anything you need. Okay, so thank you, Isaac. Now next I will introduce Helena Calvo. Helena Calvo Pérez, Impact Project Manager to Good to Go. Looking the other way when more than a third of the food produced globally is being wasted is something we cannot afford to do. Stopping food waste is a collective responsibility, and taking action is urgent for people and for the planet. Helena Calvo is a communicator committed to social and environmental projects, and since 2018 she has been fighting food waste with Too Good To Go, the largest app that connects people with thousands of food establishments with surplus food. She leads the development and launch of campaigns and projects to raise awareness about the problem of food waste and its resulting environmental impact. The aim of the project is to educate, inspire and empower people around the world so that they can take action and thus move towards a planet without food waste. Thank you, Karme. Oh, that's the end of the presentation. That was a spoiler. Let's start. Let's see. Am I doing something wrong? Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'll start. There we go, perfect. Thank you so much. I know that we are now very focused on the topic at hand, but I always want to look at the big picture to then focus on something as specific as food waste, which was already presented. I don't know if you've ever seen these. I always like asking, but I think today will be a bit quicker. This is a graphic representation of global warming and temperature increase. Each of these bars corresponds to a year starting in 1901 and ending in 2018, and each color, as you may imagine, is associated to the global world temperature, a yearly average. I think it's quite obvious. The trend is quite obvious, and I like this picture because in just one quick look we can easily see where we're going, where we seem to be headed, and I like to see where we want to be headed, and I think we all here share this vision. When we talk about global warming or climate crisis, oftentimes we think of images like this one, pictures like this one. It's difficult to think of a pair of jeans or a cow, maybe increasingly more, fortunately. We're starting to associate CO2 emissions, global warming, with things that we didn't link until now. But it's difficult still to associate these emissions and this pollution and this climate crisis to food. And it's not so much food in and of itself, and yes, the food system is involved, but also the misuse or the wasting of these food, and this is what I'm getting to. 1/3 of all of the food produced worldwide is wasted. So 1 in 3 food products produced, 1 in 3 foods produced never end up being consumed, and they are lost throughout the chain, and they do not fulfill their purpose, their mission. And this is not only a problem per se, because I think no one can defend or be proud of wasting, personally or collectively. But this also has implications in financial terms. Food has a financial value, and with inflation we're more aware of this, and studies are pointing towards the fact that it's more difficult to waste food when we know its economic value. It also has social implications. Not everyone has food on the table 3 times a day, and there are people who, and we continue to waste food. Yes, and it of course has environmental implications. If we compare with cars, as we were doing before, food waste generates as many CO2 emissions as all of the road transportation in the world. So every time we throw food in the bin, we are contributing to this monster, just like when we use the car. From Too Good To Go, we try to educate about all of these tons and problems in a very communicative and plain manner, so we can all be aware of that and understand the magnitude of the problem. In Spain, we waste around 8 million tons per year, and it sounds like a lot, but it's not tangible in the end. If we were to transform this into the Titanic, ship that none of us have seen, but we all imagine as something monstrous, huge, it would be 190 Titanics every year in Spain. So if we multiply it and see the magnitude, we're talking about something huge. And we could bring it down further, and this is still more impacting. Every second in Spain we waste 250 kilos of food, which could be consumed and are being wasted. So the magnitude is huge, and we need to do something about it. When we throw away this food, we should bear in mind that we're not throwing away the food in enough, the product in enough itself, but all of everything that has happened from the beginning to the point where we are in the chain. So maybe deforestation of ecosystems to plant and use the soil, labor, fertilizers, water, of course, fuel and energy that we now know very well that these are scarce goods and costly goods. So when we throw away a banana that is a bit overripe, is a bit brown, maybe we are wasting the water equivalent of 10 minutes in the shower. We probably have a shower that lasts 5-10 minutes, but then 10 minutes of a shower for a banana. I think we have not made that link yet, and it's very important to understand all of that, to be more aware and not allow for that bit. Yes, a bit of bread, a banana, it can always happen. Yes, these bits end up adding up to a whole lot, and the magnitude is huge. So much so that in 2020, in the project Drawdown, they concluded that fighting food waste was the most powerful action and most effective action against the climate crisis. The first one, beyond reducing, which is also important, reducing fossil fuels, using wind turbines and solar panels, but not wasting food, helps us giving a real use to the resources we invested, and also not generating new demand and therefore more impact. So this is something that we can do now at home, each and every one of us. And on the other hand, here we go. This is what Too Good To Go tries to do, this little by little. Just like small wasted doses amount to a huge amount of waste, from Too Good To Go we want to give a second life or a final life to these potential food waste that is not yet waste. And therefore with each pack we have calculated and certified that it is the equivalent to 2.5 kilos of CO2 that is not being emitted into the atmosphere. How do we do this? With an app that is free. It geolocates you and tells you what establishments around you participate with the Too Good To Go platform, and they foresee they will have a surplus of food. And we're talking about bakeries, hotels, supermarkets, even producers who foresee they will have a surplus. They will not be able to sell everything at the end of the day, and they offer these what we call surprise packs, which are the key piece that helps us prevent waste. Waste in establishments cannot be foreseen, because if someone could foresee that they would not sell something, they would not produce it. They would not produce. They would not put a baguette in the oven that they are not going to sell. But then we try to make this magic happen with this pack, and also we want to give a real answer to waste, and we want to fight against this insurgency. So at a reduced price, 1/3, more than a 60% discount, these products end up being used by a user who books the pack through the app, then goes to the establishment at the end of the day and takes home this food at the reduced price. So it's a win-win. The venue, the establishment recuperates part of the cost. The user discovers new places at a reduced price, and they can have this option. And then the planet, mainly the planet, wins because of this impact that we talked about.
So just a few figures, and it is a global movement. In 16 markets, it was born in Denmark with 63 million of users, a very committed community, and 165,000 stores in this network, a small neighborhood, local shops, and also big supermarkets. And we are a company of social impact, and how we see the meaning, well, using this app and this marketplace, and also in a more holistic and global way with these 5 pillars that are essential and crucial in our societies. We work in families, with households. It's one of the hot topics of waste, and following regulations and participating in public consultations and offering this vision from a very small thing, but also very big at the same time, because we have this knowledge, also education, working with the new generations, and with this new mindset. And it's not only scratching the surface, but also going deeper in the food waste, and also businesses that have a key role in this link of the farm, from the farm to the table. And also food waste is something very small, but it has it's very concrete in the 2030 agenda, and it has an impact on different fields of our life. But it is true that this system has an impact in many SDGs. 11 or 12 that we should reduce to half of the food waste per capita. I don't know if we are running too late, but at least we have tried a different project, and also in the climate action for this environmental impact. If we reduce the food waste, we are going to have a direct impact. And also the SDG 17, because alliances are key, and it is very important, this concept of being together to fight food waste. Users and stores get together in way too good to go, and we face this problem. But also the public administration, the businesses, and anybody collaborating in this big challenge in front of us. And that's all. Thank you very much.
Gracias, Helena. A continuación,
Thank you, Helena.
tendremos a Rosa.
Now we're going to listen
Rosa
to
García,
Rosa García,
activista de
an
Residuos
activist of Zero Waste,
Directora General
General
de Rezero.
Director of Rezero.
Rosa García
Rosa
lleva más de 15
García
años ayudando
has
a
been
organizaciones,
helping
universidades y
universities,
otros centros de
organizations,
formación
and
a
other
trabajar por
training
una sociedad
centers
residuo cero.
to work
Como directora
towards our
general de
society
Rezero,
that is
facilita
zero
el diseño
waste.
y desarrollo de proyectos de
She helps
gestión,
design
planes,
projects,
estudios y campañas
plans,
estratégicas
and
en el
studies
ámbito
and
del consumo
campaigns in
responsable,
responsible
la prevención de
consumption,
residuos
the
y la
prevention
economía
of
circular.
waste and circular
También
economy.
coordina el
She also
desarrollo de
coordinates the development of different proposals and policies in the prevention of waste and responsible consumption. She is a member of the Research Center of the University of Barcelona, specialized in developing professional skills focused on sustainability, and a professor of sustainable tourism at the University of Barcelona. Well, thank you very much. I wanted to thank the organizers for giving me the possibility to participate in this session. I only have 10 minutes and I am a little stressed. I speak very, very fast and nobody's going to understand me, so I will try to speak slowly. Have you ever been to Rome? I bet you have. I don't know if you know this hill. It's not in the touristic guides. In a neighborhood to the east, it's the Testaccio hill. It is an accumulation of waste of the China and ceramics of the first and third centuries before Christ, and it is these amphoras that were used to store oil. So on Monte Testaccio, in front of it, there is the Museum of Modern Art. So I encourage you and I invite you to go visit it. So which are the Testaccio hills nowadays that we have around us? We have so many. So we have hundreds of deposits and landfills in our territory, and our burning stations and invisible landfills that the plastics, the packaging, the waste that we disseminate all over the world in our oceans. And the oceans where everything started at cellular level. So the Catalan organizations decided to create this foundation in order to focus on the first R, reduction, prevention of waste, because we talk about the 3, the 4, the 7 R's, you name them, and we have to act on the prevention of waste, and also with all the different social and economic agents that can have an impact on the change of the consumption model. So we try to move forward and be catalyzing agents of this transformation in different fields, promoting this new model of society towards zero waste. We develop some strategic campaigns, cross-section campaigns that we develop in the reduction of packaging, reduction of food waste, also the reduction of the toxicity, and also developing all the researchers in our lab, accompanying the administration and universities and companies to do this project, and trying to do advocacy and having an impact on the regulations. So we want a zero waste society and free of toxics. So we want that our model and our happiness is not determined by consumism, but consuming with the problems that it causes on our health and on the environment. So we want a society that can move forward with this economy. We're talking about circular economy, and we want to talk about the reusing economy and toxic free. How do we do it? So we try to analyze everything related to waste and it's not transparent and clear enough yet. And we are also talking about these dark holes of information, this opacity, this lack of transparency. So we provide data in order to create this impact from the mass media and also to include everything in the political agenda. Here you have an example of our campaign, Plastic Health. We analyze the presence of derivatives of plastic in the urine of many politicians. And I have bad news. All of us have plastic in our urine. So apart from this disseminating of data, we raise awareness, and we took 5 families of Catalonia and we gave them a challenge to be 1 month without producing waste. So we have the before and after, and they recorded themselves with their smartphones, and they made a web series that was awarded the European Award of Waste Prevention. So as citizens, we have our limits. Something very positive of this project is how happy people were of these changes, of this transformation. And this is the before and the after. This is the after. And these are all the products that they used. So we analyze, we promote these new messages, and we are also proactive. And this is one of the main features that make us different. So we move to action together with all the stakeholders. So here you have an example of the Rewind Zero, reusing the wine bottles with the waste agency and wineries of different sizes in Catalonia and different organizations. And we analyzed from the environmental and social and economic perspective, showing that reusing is efficient. So we had to show it to them, because in the last years in Catalonia, the reusing is reduced in Catalonia. And it's a source of concern for us. You can check out the figures in our website, but these are the most shocking results. That a wine bottle, if we wash it up to 7 times, we can save up to 2 kilos of CO2 equivalent. And so it's very difficult in the business world to achieve these high levels of reduction with such a small step. What else? About toxicity. So we are very concerned because we want to introduce this idea of reducing toxicity. So a quantitative prevention, but also qualitative prevention. And also we are concerned about the role of women. And in the European Week, they talk about textiles. So we want to talk about healthcare textile, new period, about menses, and we have our menses every month, we women, and it is also a very taboo aspect and topic, and we calculate that 2 out of 7 women have no access to this type of hygienic products, and we know that 90% of these products are made of plastic, and they have a high concentration of components that are dangerous to our health. This is why we want to empower women and inform women and also to break taboos, and also to have access to reused materials and toxic-free. We collaborated with the feminism department, with the autonomous government of Catalonia to promote this pioneer project in order to have access to these products in the schools. And then finally, we need a change of the regulation. So raising awareness is crucial. Having access to data is important, but we need a new regulatory framework that gives us these capabilities. It will be very difficult to move towards this zero waste society. This is why we need to, that is what we do, to try and have an impact in Brussels, Catalonia, and many other places. And also, if we want to build and imagine this world that is toxic-free and zero waste, we need to apply measures every day, and we need to celebrate all the small changes, and also to be active, have political agents, and also to demand the companies and our administrations our right to have a happiness not based on consumption, no, without having a negative impact on the planet or on our health.
Muchas gracias, Rosa.
Estoy cansada, ando súper rápida.
A continuació obrirem un debat.
So now we're going to open up a Q&A session.
Per a fer algun dels ponents. És el moment.
That's the moment. And if not, I have many questions to ask.
Alguna persona del públic té algun dubte, curiositat? Alguna mà?
Contesteu vosaltres,
Sí, ara va. Em preguntava per Too Good To Go.
It's a question for Too Good To Go. I am a user since the beginning, but there are a lot of stores that are not joining the project. So which are the reasons they give you not to join the project? Because to me, as a consumer, as a user, I find it very difficult to understand why they don't want to join. So I don't know if it's paradigm, problem of paradigm, I don't know. Well, thank you for the question and for being a user of our app. Well, many things come to my mind. First of all, when we started with all this and we talked to the stores, they didn't understand what we wanted to do. So it's so obvious that how come it didn't exist in the past. But it's very shocking, and people thought we were coming for an inspection, asking about waste, food waste. And why are you asking? I haven't done anything wrong. But we started in Spain 4 years ago, and I think in Catalonia and in Spain there is a new legal framework, and this helps a lot. And on the other hand, also this resistance towards change. I've always done it like this, and I'm not going to change, and also to understand what we do, and also I think we need some awareness. We need to raise awareness, and also time related. We are a big team, but we really walk a lot. We take the streets and we talk to a lot of people. And what's good about our solution is that it can be escalated. And from a small village to a big city, a small store, a big supermarket, you can implement it. You just need to want to do it. And when we receive a phone call from someone who is very interested, and we go straight away. we are super fast, so we can start giving away this product on the same day. So we invite parliaments, and we want to invite stores to change their minds. And I still receive a lot of emails from the people who started with us, and they choose this solution, and we are very happy for that.
¿Puedo hablar español? Claro. Tengo dos dudas. Una duda es, por ejemplo, sé que en Alemania y en otros países hay un recambio de botellas de vidrio, plástico que puedes recharge of plastic bottles that you can give to the supermarkets.
Do you know why in Spain and other countries this is not done? You go to a supermarket and give the bottle and get money. And I don't know why this happens here in Spain. It's a good question.
Començo i l'Isaac també. Sí, de fet és una de les... ¿Castellano quieres?
Well, it is one of the vindications that we are doing for many years, the reuse of bottles. I am 44 years old. I remember when I was young that we used our reused packaging to fill the Coke and the water. And also this deposit system, like in Germany and many northern countries, and also Australia and United States. So this is the change towards this culture of using and throwing away. And I think it's also when this culture started of just using and throwing away, and the migration of the economic responsibility. So who is assuming the cost of waste? Is the citizens through our administrations and municipalities, because the product responsibility is not applied. It's very cheap. You just produce a product or a good, and then you sell it and you forget about it, because it's the citizens who are going to pay for it. This is what we want to do. We want to change these regulations to an effective reuse of the packaging, and also that the producers are the ones who are responsible of this waste that is generated. And also, if in Spain or in Catalonia we don't have this system, is because it has not been implemented. There is not a legal framework giving support to it now. In the Spanish framework, they are going to implement it, and let's see what happens with the translation of the Catalan regulation. And then maybe we should also think why it has taken so long to implement this system, and who is winning in the waste management, so to say. Well, I think it has to be fair what happens in the economic sphere when we talk about waste and we talk about the circular economy paradigm. It can also be an opportunity for different sectors, and because we have to consider the waste as a resource, not as waste. And if we are in this wild capitalism system, this is another argument, but while we are in this model, it is obvious that the economic aspect is very important. This is why we also talk about fair prices in the collection of waste, and it also needs to be fair, the price we pay for our household, and also all the agents in the sector. This is why we defend and we advocate for this transparency in the management. And it was not like this in the past. And this is why we think we should move towards this transparency. As Rosa explained, if you are rich because you produced a product and then you put it in the market and then it has to be collected or recycled, but you didn't pay for it, this is not the way things should go. Any other questions?
Hola. Sí. Karme, només volia felicitar-te.
I wanted to congratulate Karme because we talked about fashion and the hyperconsumism surrounding fashion. It is one of the main challenges of humankind. The fast fashion, the amount of waste that is generated. And we haven't talked about the millions of people who are still under slavery and manufacturing these products, and it finishes in the landfill. So the model you defend is fantastic because it's really sustainable for the future. And it touches all the fundamental elements, local production, waste-free, no slavery, and you are being the moderator, but I just wanted to acknowledge you and the job you do. And this is the only way so that the fashion world can guarantee the sustainability of the future. Just wanted to congratulate you. Thank you very much.
Moltes gràcies. O sigui, in love.
Thank you very much. I'm in love. Actually, everything is connected because I believe in a creative model vis-a-vis waste. Out of something that was considered waste, I made a unique piece. So imagine if we were to invest in technology, in all of the things that we're considering waste. Imagine the wonders we could create. I always think of the creative and artistic side of things, and this is a model that we need to rebuild from scratch. And the starting point is the piece of waste. Now we only need ideas, entrepreneurs, investment, technology can walk alongside us. So I see very interesting prospects, really.
Alguna pregunta més?
Any further questions? I think of the ones that we have prepared. We've talked about everything. Can I say something to latch on to what we talked about, the emergency, the pressing nature of all of this? There are no excuses in the administration, no longer. There are initiatives such as the one Karme explained that also affect the economy, and Karme has to eat too, and she can use the app. And this has reached the Lluçanès area, so Lluçanès is where I live, and if you look at the world map, Lluçanès is at the center. And honestly, this links with long-lasting initiatives and volunteer pacts, contributions to legislation in very horizontal movements, citizen-based. So I talked about distributing responsibilities and also empowerment for this transformation, this revolution that I was talking about before, or the triple transformation that I mentioned. And events like this one, which are so important, and of course when we come out of here we should put all of our energy into disseminating all of that. So I just wanted to jump on that wagon. Linked to all this, we always talked about shared responsibility with waste, and if only one of the sectors moves forward, they will always encounter barriers. The financial system, regulatory, citizens, for example, we as representatives of civil society, in this case, we want to speak in favor of the waste system because we are blaming citizens. Citizens generate a lot of waste, they don't know how to recycle, they are not civic, and maybe we need to do away with that message that has been so heavy for years. And yes, shared responsibility, but asymmetrical responsibility. And as a colleague said, in the end, we consider that what is not acceptable in the 21st century is that products continue to go out into the market that we know cannot be repaired, cannot be reused, and are not recyclable. So it's the responsibility in this sense is asymmetrical, and then while demanding these changes of policies and moving towards the economy of reuse and these regulatory changes to make it possible. So it is all very nice to meet in forums like this, but we need to make stronger advances. I don't know if you agree with me, but just to finish the session, and since the governments, I would like to say that governments are not up to this task, unfortunately. Small users are doing a lot more. I'm saying this because you were talking about blame, and I am very methodical. I recycle and then I put everything in the right bin, and then they tell me, but then they mix everything afterwards. No, we have to do away with those myths, which are not true. But the blame on the user is a weight that I think the administration, the people who do have the foundation and the power to do something right, they should be up to the task, and I'll leave it at that. Okay, so we will now conclude the session. Thank you very much. But we will have a new law, a new Catalan waste law, so we hope everything will transform after that. Let's hope for that, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karme. That was such wonderful moderating, to Isaac, to Helena, to Rosa. It's really good to hear that there is both vision and actually real-world examples of this transition to a waste-free society that we need. Somebody asked a question about the fashion system and the very, very serious issues of the fashion system, and there's a whole session on it this afternoon at 3:30 in the Sala Auditori, exactly on that, on how we produce the clothes that we wear. Also, just one nice touch, if you haven't seen already, we are decorating and upcycling and personalizing tote bags downstairs with the help of partner Remix the Barrio, doing an amazing project. The dyes are made from food waste. Everything is like 100% sustainable. So go and have something you're wearing or something you're carrying personalized and upcycled, and then you'll be part of the positive system. But now I want to welcome somebody who is without doubt one of Atlas of the Future's favorite future fixers in the world. In fact, I met Ismaël online we interviewed him a few years ago now, and I think it's fair to say we are all just slightly obsessed with his work, which is amazing. It's really sad for us that he's not here with us today. He was supposed to be, and I'm afraid he's one of two victims, frankly, of Europe's unwelcoming visa regulations. There are two people who should have been with us through this conference who have been denied entry. Tells you a lot about people doing the really important work in the world and just how bloody hard it is for so many people to be able to be where they need to be. But I am nonetheless want to give my own kind of rock star welcome to Ismaël, who's the founder and the CEO of Madiba Nature. Madiba Nature is a Cameroonian non-profit. I think it's safe to say that sort of Ismaël is kind of responsible for bringing into people's minds the issue of waste, the problems of a system where there is no recycling capability at all, and how you can both tackle plastic waste, help your community, educate people, and kind of create a system where no system existed. So, Ismaël, I hope you're there online, and I'm so happy to welcome you. There he is.
Hi. Thank you. Hello, thank you. Hello, everyone.
We're all yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
We're ready for you,
thank you
to start. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. I think we should start with a short video first, and after we'll have our presentation.
The explosion of plastic waste across the world threatens the very survival of life on our planet. Every year, up to 12 million metric tons of plastic enters our oceans. From poisoning marine life to littering landscapes and clogging waterways, plastic waste in the environment is set to triple in the next decade. The problem is so vast it can seem overwhelming. But by reimagining this waste as a resource, we can begin to redress the balance.
I'm Doni Kanyile in Cameroon, where a young entrepreneur is turning the tide on plastic waste by building boats out of bottles.
And I'm Megan McCubbin in the UK, where one company is tackling a really sticky plastic problem, whilst making unique and sustainable products in the process.
Here in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, the scale of the country's plastic problem is painfully clear. Plastic waste is clogging up the streets and rivers of Cameroon's major cities, polluting waterways, threatening marine ecosystems, and making life especially difficult for local fishermen.
It's estimated that across the city of Douala, 1,300 tons of plastic waste is generated every day. So much of it is thrown into the city's rivers, you can't see any trace of water.
Wow. I've never seen anything quite like this before. I don't even know how you begin to fix a problem this big.
There's no doubt this is a major challenge for the city. But one local man has made it his mission to deal with it head on. His name is Ismaël Essome.
Ismaël! Hi, so good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Daddy.
I mean, it's quite a place to meet, I must say. So is this normal here in Douala?
It's so sad. It's really sad. You have all the plastics that are thrown away by people in the street, in the household, and then you have the river, the water that collect all the waste that clog this bridge, and then you have people stopping with their car and throw their trash in the river, and you can see that plastic bag. People are not educated on how to manage their waste. So unfortunately, it's normal.
It's overwhelming to see this, but you don't find it overwhelming. Why do you see this and think that this is something you want to take on for yourself?
I realized that all the rivers are full of plastics. No one cares. No one said, what is this? And I was shocked to see that, so I decided to do something. And what I think that I could help to bring is changing people's mindset by showing the way.
Ismaël began an initiative to clear up the waste from all of Douala's 10 choked rivers. He calls his company Madiba and Nature, meaning water and nature in the local Sawa language. He recruits a team of 30 volunteers, and today I'm giving them a helping hand. But it quickly becomes clear to me what a tough job this is.
So we're standing on this board because as much as this looks like a bed of plastic, there's actually a river underneath it, so it's not very stable. It's very hot and very humid here, So when you have this amount of waste in water, of course it calls mosquitoes and other kinds of waterborne diseases, and there are people who live all around here. So this is not just an environmental crisis, it's a possible health crisis as well, and a serious one. The work you're doing here is amazing, but there are so many bottles and it feels like this is just a dent. And it's really only individuals like you who are taking it on. There is no citywide plan or nationwide plan to tackle this enormous problem.
No, there is no recycling system here in Karme. Our politicians have other problems, other priorities, so people are poor, no one's care about environment.
Yeah.
This is the most urgent problem, so we need to change policy and to manage waste.
Ismaël doesn't just see all this plastic as waste. He sees it as a valuable material and an opportunity to do good. He turns bottles into boats for the region's fishing community. And it all happens here inside his workshop.
Ah, bottles.
Yeah, this is our workshop place.
I see.
In my house here. So I'm here with some member of the team and we try to finish a boat.
Ismaël's boats are built using traditional techniques.
Who taught you how to do this?
You know, I'm from a fishing community and my dad is a fisherman.
Oh, wow.
So when I was young, I was fishing with my dad. This technology had just adapted to the plastic bottles.
So is that why this idea came to you?
Yes, because the pollution affects the river. And now you cannot catch fish because the fishing area is full of plastics. So I thought to help not only to cleaning the rivers, but also to provide boat, because it's not easy in the villages for someone to buy a simple boat. So now we build cheapest eco boat that could be useful.
So we have part of our seat done. What's next?
You want to practice?
Yeah, I'd love to try.
Let's do that.
Thank you. As you saw, this is the reality in Cameroon. This is our problem. This is our major problem. But I realized going back in 2015 that this was our reality. This is a river in Douala that is full of plastic, and this river goes directly to the ocean. So as a young man from a water community, since we are fishermen, for me, because the well-being of our beaches, of our rivers, of our environment cares, because the well-being of my family as fishermen cares, and because I think all the people from the capital, they have the right to have a clean area and clean environment. I stand up and I said I have to bring a kind of solution. This is how Madiba Nature was created. So the aim of the organization was to bring a sustainable waste management system, to educate population in order to bring a kind of positive change and to create opportunities within the recycling by promoting a kind of social enterprises. So the vision was to eliminate the pollution, the plastic, and to create jobs for thousands of jobless in our country, and as well preserving our fishing culture. So the major problem was the cleanup of areas, rivers, beaches, and to reach this goal, we invent this particular bin that we call eco bin that allows to collect thousands of plastic in this single container. The other goal was to train, to generate a kind of positive impact in the mindset of students. So we try to touch large quantity of youth with training more than 100 youth in schools and jobless and in university each year into the valorization, the upcycling of plastic into useful product. One of our famous products is the EcoBoat, as you saw in the video. This particular boat, it has like 3 missions. First, to boost a kind of local industry of fishing, since people are living from this culture, this activity, by impacting more than 150 family of fishermen to date, promoting ecotourism on the beaches of the villages from Longi to Quibi to Campo. This is the littoral region of Cameroon. And what the impact we got is, since we started this project two years ago, the household incomes using the ecoboat has grown plus $4,500 per year per household. To touch the next generation, we have launched our environmental education program in 20 schools. Those around 20 schools with more than 100,000 students that are touched through our module of environmental education and the workshops. Because we think educate people and raising environmental awareness care, we act like activists in Cameroon. This is a partnership with the Greenpeace Cameroon, where we create a kind of public exhibitions to raise environmental awareness by touching the government, by trying to touch the local actors that can have a positive influence in stopping the use of those plastics. One result of our actions actually is the expansion of our recycling, our blue economy promotion model within 2 cities in Cameroon. In Douala, we have opened a recycling center where we are able to recycle up to 100 tons of plastic to date. So we turned them into eco-boats, touching our community of fishermen. We turned them into eco-bin, into bowl furniture, into product that have an added value and that can generate revenue from household. And as we have more than 600, it's plus now tons of plastic that reach the nature. We have some partnership with some factory that use it as raw material, since we don't yet have all the means to transform all those in Cameroon. So we make bales and we can ship those plastics abroad to stop the scale of plastic pollution into our environment. So this is globally our vision and our actions, what we try to do to impact within our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ismaël. It's so good to see the latest developments in your work. I think there's really one main question that I want to ask you, especially given that you didn't end up with the opportunity to be with us here today, which is, I've followed your work, I've seen how many things and opportunities you've applied for and how you've tried to build awareness for your project and help your community. You're speaking now both online and to a local and international audience here in Barcelona. What do you want from friends and partners internationally? What is helpful to you? What would you like to say or ask for that would make a difference in your work?
Thank you, Cathy, for this opportunity to share the idea of Madiba nature and the actions we have on the field. Well, I know that reaching our goals is not easy, but I just want to share our vision for the next year, and partner can understand how they can be helpful with us. There's the last pictures I shared is the shipping of 20 tons of plastics to a particular partner I made during a fellowship in USA called To Recycle. This was possible because this program allowed us to have some grants. So what I'm going to ask is if there are companies that are able to act globally and support local actions in African countries, they are able to partner with our organization to give us more power to maybe to have the cleanup on all the 405 kilometers of beaches we have in Cameroon, and maybe they can use our plastics, the extra quantity we can recycle as raw material. It's a kind of a win-win partnership if they can support our field work actions that will allow us to create more jobs opportunity for hundreds of families we try to impact and to support. This is one first help that can, a kind of collaboration that can be a 50% winning for everyone. The other aspect can be giving us the opportunity to share what we are doing, our experiences to reach a large number of partners, like what the Fixing of the Future allow us now to share our experience, to invite us to conference like this, in particular training or exhibitions around the world. So this is something I think can be more interesting, because having those kind of partnership can allow us to build the kind of machine or to acquire what we need to recycle and have a more large impact on our field.
Thank you so much, Ismaël. Well, I hope somebody is listening who thinks that collaboration with an entrepreneur like Ismaël, with a community like his, with people who have done so much already to create a positive system where one didn't exist. I hope that somebody listening will get in touch afterwards and offer exciting routes of collaboration and more opportunities to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry you're not with us, but thank you for being here.
Thank you, Katie.